All right, now let's talk about if statements. We use if statements to control the logic of our programs. For example, let's declare a variable called temperature and set it to 70. Now, let's say depending on the value of the temperature, we want to print different messages on the terminal. For example, if the temperature is less than 60, we want to print cold. To do this, we type an if statement. Here in parentheses, we type a condition or a Boolean expression, like temperature less than 60. Now, if this condition is true, then the statement that we type after will get executed. So here we can print cold. Now, in this case, our temperature is 70. It's not less than 60, so the condition is false. And when we run our program, we're not going to see anything. Take a look. There you go. However, if we type another statement after our if statement, this will always get executed no matter what, because this is not part of our if statement. Take a look. So now we see done, okay? That is the idea of if statements. We use them to control the logic of our programs. Now, here we have a single statement. If we have multiple statements, we have to wrap them in braces. So right after the if statement, we type a pair of braces. Then we move this line up here. And here we can have additional statements. So we can print an extra message and say, wear warm clothes. Now let's change the temperature to 50. So this condition is true. And now when we run our program, we see both these messages. Of course, I missed an end though, but that is irrelevant. Now, let's remove this line. So here we have a single statement, and this is where we have two schools of thought. Some people argue that if we have a single statement, we should remove the braces. Other people say we should always add braces for clarity. I'm not a fan of that idea. I believe these extra braces are unnecessary, and if I have a single statement, I prefer to remove the braces and make my code cleaner and more concise. Now here we have another school of thought. Some people say if you have a single statement, you should put it in front of the if statement. Other people say you should put it on the next line. Again, this is just a matter of opinions. There is no right or wrong here. Some people waste their time arguing for minutes or hours about the pros and cons of each approach. This is really unnecessary. Now, what if the temperature is not less than 60? We can add a second condition using else if. Now, once again, in parentheses, we type another condition like temperature less than 90. So if the first condition is not true, that means the temperature is greater than or equal to 60. And if we end up here and the temperature is less than 90, the statement that we write after will get executed. So here we can print nice. Now, if we change the temperature to 70 and run our program, we only see the message nice, okay? So using else if, we can add additional conditions. Now, optionally, if none of the previous conditions are true, we can write an else clause to execute something else. So here we can print hot. So if the temperature is 100, none of these previous conditions are going to be true because 100 is not less than 60 or 90. So the control will end up here and this statement will get executed. Take a look. There you go. Now here's what I want you to do. Use this chart to set the commission based on the value of the sales. For example, if the sales is up to $10,000, then the commission should be 10%. So use what you learned in this lesson to implement this requirement. All right, so I'm going to declare an integer called sales and set it to 11,000, just an arbitrary number, okay? Next, I'm going to declare a double called commission. Now we can initialize this to 0, but this is unnecessary because right after, we're going to set the commission using our if statement. So let's simplify our code a little bit. Now let's code our first condition. If sales is less than or equal to 10,000, then we're going to set the commission to what? 0.1. Else if the sales is between 10 to 15,000, so here we can say if sales is greater than 10,000 and it's less than or equal to 15,000, then we're going to set the commission to 0.15. Now in this case, the first part of our condition is unnecessary because if the first condition is not true, we know that the sales is greater than 10,000. So when the control ends up here, we know that sales is greater than 10,000. So we don't need to state the obvious. We can remove this and make our code simpler, more concise, and easier to read and maintain. Now finally, if none of these conditions are true, that means the sales is over 15,000. So we're going to set the commission to 0.2. Now here we can reformat our code by putting these statements right in front of our if. That makes our code a little bit more compact and easier to see. Again, just a matter of personal preference. You need to use your own judgment to see what works best in each scenario. So now let's test our program. Let's print the commission. So currently our sales is 11,000. It falls in this range. So the commission should be 1.5. Take a look. There you go. Now, if we increase the sales and make it 50,000, the commission is going to be 20% or 0.2.